So when I lost my job and I decided that I was going to move, I knew one thing. I was done with working for people who didn't appreciate me. And I was done being tied to a location. I don't know about you, but that going in every single day to an office was super draining. It was wearing me out. So now I decided to do something that I love, but I was able to do that because I had my Freedom Fund. And the Freedom Fund for me was not something that I just started. I had already been doing things to create passive income. I was already doing things to have money that could actually move. And that's what I also call it, money that moves with you. So I want to talk to you today in this video about how you can build those same things. How you can now have income that would move with you. Because now my income comes from just my laptop. And it moves wherever my laptop goes. I can handle everything I need on my businesses right from wherever I am, as long as I have good internet and my laptop. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways. And I'm going to give you some ideas, some things that you can do. I'm going to show you what I've done, but I'm also going to show you what you can do so you can also have money that moves. The first thing is you got to have a mindset to really know that this can happen for you. The people that's doing it, we don't have 2 heads, we're not special, we just had a plan and we implement it, and so can you. So let's start with income that travels, right? Income that travels that with you is not about grinding, right? We love to honor the grind. I'm not one that's gonna honor the grind. It's about finding ways to diversify the money that you already have in smart ways that it can continue to produce for you. It's about not having just one stream of income, but having multiple streams of income. And so we're going to talk about active income, passive income, and portfolio income. Those are the ways that we can really start to have multiple streams. And then we're going to talk about within those streams, what does it look like? Because if one stream is shaky or dries up, you got other streams of income too that will support you. Because you know markets go up and markets come down. So the 3 kind of income that's in what I call my Freedom Fund and money that works is money that works for me. So money that works for me is like investment or real estate. Because I already made the purchase in the real estate and now it's just producing income for me. I already made the big investment in my portfolio by buying stocks and bonds, and now it's working for me. And money that travels with me is money that's based on services that I provide, right? So wherever I am, if I can provide that service, I do a lot of consulting, I do career coaching, I do coaching, of course, with my clients for relocation. So that goes with me wherever I go. And then there's money that works for me, and that's money what we call passive income. And so while that also, you can also kind of say it's real estate, but it's also money that you can get from like products that you produce that happens overnight. So let's talk about the real estate income. So I've been managing short-term and long-term rentals for over 5 years. Fortunately for me, I started in the boom of it in 2020 during the pandemic, when I focused on healthcare, on the nurses in the healthcare industry, where they were making $10,000 a week. So they were glad to come in, rent my short-term rental while they were traveling nurses going from place to place. So that worked out well for me, and I still do that business till today. And then I also had investments, and I was buying stocks over time. You don't need millions to invest, but you do need to just kind of spread them out. So get a good investment firm or join a good group that understands it, or just study it up. I'm not a very good person to advise you on what to invest in. But my money that travels with me is the money that I make from the services I provide. So I do coaching online, and when I do career coaching, no matter where I am, if I'm traveling, my clients are still going to show up. If I sell digital products online, it's still going to work for me. When I have my relocation clients, it's still online. So those are some of the things that I'm going to be able to do, and that's money that travels with me. So when you think about yourself, you have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. How can you put that into an ebook? How can you put that into a mini course? How can you put that into a master class or a webinar? And that you can just sell on various sites, and that's making money in your sleep. Some of you are very senior and very, very in high demand for what you do. Startups a lot of time are looking for CEOs, but they can't necessarily afford it full-time. You can do a fractional CEO position, a fractional CFO, handling the finances, CMO, handling their marketing, or CHRO, handling your HR. Those are some things that you could do, and that is the money that will travel with you, because you can do that from anywhere, from multiple companies at a time. And then there's also, of course, consulting and coaching. I did a lot of consulting when I lived in Nigeria and Ethiopia. And so I went to country from country, just consulting, because I was an HR consultant for many years. And you can also do tutoring. You know, children, a lot of times parents are very happy to pay a premium for a good teacher. And you don't have to necessarily be a teacher or have teacher credentials. You just need to be really good in some subject and know how to break down the complex into simple. And yes, there's English as a second language. I think that that's a foundational start, but the income from that is so small that I don't think it's going to give you the bougie lifestyle that you want. But what you could do is take the course and launch your own company as English as a second language. Schools also hire, a lot of schools in China and Asia hire, and that's also something that can travel with you, because it doesn't matter where you are, you can do it you can do it anywhere. And then there's also the multi-level marketing, and I think you know, I'm not talking about pyramid, multi-level marketing, think of Mary Kay, right? Because that's probably one of the most successful multi-level marketings in Avon. So that is something that you can do online. Once you kind of you can build your community online, you can train them online, and the products will come to you. And that is income that is constantly coming in, no matter where you are. You can move somewhere and pick up new people on your downline. So that's also, you have to think about it. Whatever it is, you just want to do something that makes sense to you. Also think about affiliate. What are you using all the time? What are you, maybe there's a brand of clothing, maybe there's perfumes, there's something that you're really crazy about, shoes or something. You can also be an affiliate to that, advertise it for them, and you can also with that also earn income, and it doesn't matter where you are. And you can do multiple products by just building your brand, whatever your brand would be. And so you can be a CHRO and then have affiliates with all the tools that you use. So it's not always about the fashion, it's not always about lipsticks. It can be about so many other things, right? So those are just some of the different ways that I would call that travel for you. Now, when I was building, one of the things I also did, and I talked about in one of the other videos, was a hard money lender. And that, what I would call, is money that builds legacy, right? Because this money that you're using, you're making an investment in people's businesses, you're making an investment, you could be an investment on someone, for instance, who's doing like a flip. So I'll tell you two of the ways that I've done like business investments. Small businesses want to start and they're looking for capital. And so I've invested in other people's business. Sometimes I've invested long term, sometimes it's short term, and so they're like, okay, you'll get your money back in 1 year. That's a very short term. Or sometimes you have to wait till they're profitable. So that's another way, and it doesn't always take a lot of money. Sometimes we always think this is a millions, it's not. Another thing that I did was, as a hard money lender, I actually lent money to people who were trying to buy rental properties. Right? And so they were tapped out. The bank wasn't going to lend it to them. And I knew they were going to flip that property, and I knew it had rental income that was going to come in. And so you get to lend them money from that you have at a higher rate than the bank. And so one of my loans was like at 12% interest. So that is a lot more what the banks will charge, but they don't mind paying it because it's also quick turnaround money for them. Usually that can range anywhere between 3 to 9 months is how long you're lending that money for. You're not lending it for a really long time. So those are just some ways that you could start making money that's going to move with you. Now, when I was deciding to move, I put all these things in my Freedom Fund checklist. I wrote down all my expenses. I wrote down all the income I had coming to me. I wrote down in the different categories that income was, so I know exactly what income I had coming in. So if that's something that you feel is going to be helpful for you, I've put a link in the chat, I put a link in the comments where you can get the Freedom Fund checklist as well and begin to now look at your income and start looking at your expenses and being able to determine what you need to live off, what you have coming in. And I did a video about mailbox checks, so you want to check that out as well. All right, well, you are on your way to living free, and while you're doing that, you know what you're going to do? Live an elevated life.